Hello, this is Dr. Shiny with a reading for the month of March for Aries. And if you haven't already checked out my introductory videos, please do that. It'll tell you a little bit about how I read the cards and what you can expect to get out of this and that kind of thing. So I'm going to get right into it today. What I have for your current situation is the Four of Wands, which means very happy. This message is pretty simple today. For you, my Aries friends, but it shouldn't be a very long one. The Four of Wands here is about like a happy home. You have a sense of achievement, completion, and that kind of thing. You are in a good home situation, good relationship, good. This can even represent like a good job. You know what I mean? Like a good place for you to just call home. This is where I live. You know what I mean? Like I live going from where I actually live, my house, to work, and that's my life, So it's a good situation that you're in. What's crossing you is the Knight of Coins, and the Knight of Coins is really sort of, it's a very determined, almost perfectionist energy. So the idea that I get is that some people seek out a particular vision of happiness, but when it doesn't come in the exact form that they visualize in their brain, they're unable to let go of that vision and accept the real thing, right? And so it's about like counting your blessings and knowing what you have a little bit, and not continuously searching for this ever and ever more perfect vision for the future. Your imagination is sort of, it's like it's like one of those walkways on the airport. It gets you where you're going fast, but if you never get off of that thing, you just end up going around the airport in circles, and you never actually get off at a destination and walk to where you really want to be. So you do have to sort of get off of this fast track horse that you're on, and now feel out the situation. So in other words, like with a relationship, once you start a relationship with a person, initially it's driven by a lot of inertia and chemistry and motion, but then there comes a point to where it's not going to feel any more perfect like that than it already does without you putting in some additional effort. So maybe we're conditioned culturally to expect this like fairy tale where everything is just bam, perfect like that. And that happens to a certain extent, but that idea fades, and then you sort of go looking for that feeling again, not realizing that it's actually just your relationship evolving and you both growing. You know what I mean? So there's that. What I have in your past is the Six of Wands. So what's got you here, traditionally you've been a person who's very concerned with like achievement, about being competitive in a way, and that could just mean that you want to do marriage right. You want to do a relationship right. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're competitive in a materialistic sense. It's just saying that you kind of want to be number one, or there's some particular project, again, perfectionism, where you're trying to really knock it out of the park, and perhaps setting the bar a little higher than realistic. And there are some people who would say there is no too high, but I would disagree. I would say that you set your boundaries or your aim too high if you've set it something that's just not achievable without a great sacrifice in your life. Learn to be happy with what you have. In your future, I see the Three of Wands. And so this is suggesting that if you're able to get over this sense of perfectionism, of not letting go with this particular vision that you have, if you're able to let go of that, you'll have a tremendous amount of mental energy freed up to actually give you the power to mold the situation into what you want it to be. So it's like you're making some, like you're making a sculpture, and you make some big cuts to give it the general shape of what you want it to be, and then you have to put in fine work into shaping it in the fine detail. So after you make like some of these big changes, big decisions, you'll have quite a bit more energy and something new to sort of obsess about, and it'll be appropriate for you to obsess about it, because what you're obsessing about now is a little bit more, compulsive. It's a little bit more unhealthy. So you need to find a way to channel that energy. What I see in the crowning thoughts in your higher consciousness, you have the Nine of Cups, and the Nine of Cups is about emotional fulfillment, and this is what's on your mind. So again, you're still seeking this, even though you already have the means. You sort of have it in your hands. You just haven't looked down to see that it's in your hands quite to the extent that you should yet. So you're already there. There's a sense of completion and achievement here. You're already there. It's just realizing that you're there. You're kind of already in heaven. It's just realizing that you're in heaven and not seeing the devil everywhere you look. So the foundation for the situation is the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups, out of all the knights, so it's still a knight, it's still a man, but out of all the men knights that there are, this one is the most feminine. It's the most in touch with feminine aspects, emotions, and serenity, those types of things. So it's asking you to, it's saying that through this situation you are learning to get in touch with that feminine side, get in touch with your other half, that kind of thing. But again, there is the feeling that you've already met them, and it's just really about really finding the way to look at them properly, to where you see them for what they really are to you, which is probably a great deal more than you feel like at this point. Your advice for the current situation is the Three of Swords, and it's kind of an odd card to have in the advice spot. It could be asking you to consider. So the Three of Swords is associated with like one choice that goes unchosen, because eventually you have to make a choice, one way or another, in some points in your life, and anytime you leave certain options behind, there will be an amount of pain associated with leaving that thing behind. Like if you choose to get married to one person, then you're having to say no to a lot of other people, and there is some sort of heartbreak associated with that. But keep in mind that those people will learn valuable lessons, or they have the opportunity to learn valuable lessons through that heartbreak. So, you have to do what's right for you. You have to do what your heart tells you, where your heart's leading you. And you have to know that that heartbreak is sort of part of the growing process. If your heart can be broken, it's because it needs to be. Or that's one school of thought. Or if you can be fooled, it's because you should be. Now, the current environment is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands indicates a very independent presence, a very almost stubborn, very spirited individual who is very independent. They're okay on their own, and that's in your environment. So I'm not sure whether that depends on, or whether that pertains to the options that you're leaving behind or the ones that you're choosing. But I think that it's meant to essentially push home the fact that even though you feel that maybe committing or letting go of that perfectionist image, maybe letting some people down or something, people are more independent and hardy than you recognize, and at this point they would rather you just make a decision or choose a path than obsess over it, and they're not worried about the perfect outcome quite as much as you are. Now, your fears for the current situation are in the Eight of Wands, which suggests sort of really channeling your raw energy that you've been, maybe you're on this state of like self-reflection that gives you a lot of positive energy. You're looking around and saying, well, wow, I really have accomplished a lot, and it's giving you this sense of like vitality and life. And you have to, when you build that up, you have to find a way to channel that into something. It's just again the process of growth, and you're sort of afraid to do that because maybe you like the feeling that you have right now, you like the power, you like the attention that you're getting from multiple people or something like that. So it's difficult for you to take that, all of that energy, and just focus it in one direction. But it will serve you better in the long run to do that sometimes. Your overall message is the world, which means that through this process, through sort of uniting the masculine and feminine aspects, you will reach this state of enlightenment, this full God realization, this awakening. You will kind of find your true purpose. You'll find fulfillment, whatever that hole is that exists in here. You'll find the way to fill it. And just because what's around you doesn't feel like what you need to fill it, it doesn't mean it's not actually those things. It's just that you're not looking at them right. You're not looking at them. You're not like I said, jumping off of the train and doing a little bit of more fine detail work. You're just going straight there. So it's time to sort of make some decisions to quite literally be happy, to not keep seeking after something knowing that it's sort of futile, but to just accept the world around you. And once you are able to do that, you'll be a lot happier with the current situation than you think you will be. So good reading. I will see you guys in next month, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them, and I will try to answer. Okay, bye-bye.